Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll be recreating these two pieces. I used 4 meters of fabric and some fraction to recreate mine, 3 meters for the trouser and 1 meter and 5 inches for the top. The tutorial for the top is already on the channel, but this tutorial comprises of the top and trouser, and I started first with the trouser. I used a Charlie's fabric to recreate these two pieces, but an ideal fabric is a crepe fabric. So do not forget to like, share. Please watch the tutorial before you download it, and let's get right into the tutorial. The width of my fabric is 44 inches and the length of my trouser is 43 inches. So to make room for my back rise, I came down at 2 inches on my fabric for the beginning of the waistline of my trouser minus my 2 inches waistband. So from the line on the fabric to the hem, I have 42 inches, and this includes 1 inch for hem allowance. My fabric here is folded into 2 at 21 inches, and this includes 1 inch for seam allowance, and I've gone ahead and marked out important lines. This line here will serve as my waistline, and with my tape at 2 inches on this line, I went down 10 inches plus extra 1.5 inches for my crotch depth. So this is how to take your crotch depth. Whatever you get, you add an extra 2 inches to it, or 3 inches if you want it more loose. To mark my front crotch extension, I will divide 1/4 of my original hip measurement by 4, and this gives me 2.5 inches. I will mark 2 inches for my front crotch extension and add the 1/2 inch to the back crotch extension plus 1/2 inch for seam allowance, and that leaves me with 2.5 inches. So from the end of my fabric on the crotch line, I will come in by 2.5 inches. I will place this same measurement on the waistline and connect these 2 points with a straight line. This line becomes my center front line, and I'll draw in my front crotch curve. On the waistline of my trouser on the side seam, I will come in by 1.5 inches and connect this point down to the crotch depth. With my tape on the waistline at 2 inches, I will go down at 4 inches for the beginning of my pocket opening, and the width of my pocket opening is 7 inches. I'll take the side seam all the way down to the hem of the trouser. On the center front line from the waistline, I came down at 1 inch and I connected it back to the waistline, and that was all I did for the front panel. I'll go ahead and cut it out, adding my 1/2 inch seam allowance on the waistline and on the center front line. My fabric here is folded into 2 and at 25 inches for my back panel. So this is how I got 25. My front panel was folded at 21 inches, and this includes 1 inch for seam allowance. To that, I added 3 inches for my back crotch extension, which I got by dividing 1/4 of my hip measurement by 4, plus the 1/2 inch I minus from the front crotch extension, making it 3 inches for my back crotch extension, plus an extra 1 inch for ease, totaling it to 25 inches. I'll go ahead and place the front panel on the back panel so that we can develop the back. So guys, I've placed the front panel on the back, and you can see here that I have an extra 3.5 inches for my back crotch extension, the 1/2 inches for seam allowance. Then on the waistline, the 2 inches I came down at for my back rise while drafting the front panel. I usually use 1/4 of my bust band for my back rise, and I have about 2.25 inches here. So I'll be taking my seam allowance here to attach the waistband. So you will use 1/4 of your bust band, or you just go up by 2 inches or 2.5 inches for your back rise. I will extend the center front line of the front panel upwards, and on the crotch line, I will go down by 1/2 inch for my back crotch level because the female body slopes downwards towards the back. On the waistline of the back from the center front line, I will go in by 1 inch. Draw in my center back line and the back crotch curve. I'll measure the inseam on the front panel and minus 1/2 inch from it, and I'll use that to cut the inseam on the back panel. This is because the inseam of the back panel is cut slightly on a bias, so it stretches. My front inseam measured 32.5 inches, minus 1/2 inch leaves me with 32 inches. I'll use this measurement to mark the inseam on the back panel. On the back panel, I'll draw in my back waistline by slightly connecting the back rise to the original waistline of the front panel. So guys, that was all I did for my back panel. I will go ahead and cut it out. I have two pieces of fabric here and I'm marking out the shape of my pocket. I'll go ahead and cut it out. I'll use these two pieces to cut out the other two pieces of the pocket. I will place it on my trouser to make sure the size matches. I have cut out these long strips for the waistband. The width of each strip measured 5 inches and this includes 1 inch for seam allowance. So this one right here will be used for the back waistband, which has an elastic, and for the front waistband, which is half of my waist circumference, will be cut out from this one right here. I'm going to start by assembling the front panel on the center front. I will stitch from the waistline to 1 inch away to the crotch extension, and I'll do the same on the back panel. I have joined the front and back panels on their center front and back and zigzag stitch the raw edges, leaving a space of 1 inch at the crotch extension. Now go ahead and pin my pocket in place and attach with a straight stitch. I'll stitch only on the pocket opening, zigzag stitch the raw edges and top stitch the seam allowance on the pocket. I have attached the pocket and zigzag stitch all raw edges. This space here measured 2 inches, half inch to attach the waistband to the trouser and half inch to stitch close my pocket, which leaves me with 2 inches as the distance from the waistline to my pocket opening and 4 inches from the waistline of the waistband to my pocket opening. I'll place the second panel of the pocket, pin it in place and attach with a straight stitch, and I'll do the same on the other side of the trouser. I have attached the pocket and this is what I have. I also secured it on the waistline. Now this seam allowance here is where the back panel of the trouser will be attached to. I've gone ahead and cut out the waistband for the back and front panel. My front waistband is half of my waist circumference, while the back waistband is half of my hip measurements. The measurements will be on the screen. The width of my waistband on fold is 2.5 inches, half inch for seam allowance. I'll go ahead and gather each panel to the length of each waistband. I have gathered each panel to the length of each waistband. I have also ironed on a medium weight interfacing on the front waistband. Please ensure that your gathering is uniform on both sides of the trouser. I'll go ahead and pin the front panel to the front waistband and the back panel to the back waistband and attach with a straight stitch. So guys, I've pinned the waistbands in place, making sure the gathering is shared uniformly on each panel of the trouser. So on the front panel, I tried not to center the gathering on the center front, so I shared it more towards the sides of the trouser. So guys, I have attached the waistband to their respective panels, the front waistband to the front panel and the back waistband to the back panel as well. I'll go ahead and attach the front and back panels on the side seams, inseams, and leave the side where the zipper will be attached open. So guys, I've done all that I said and have cleaned off all raw edges. I'll pin close the crotch, matching up the inseams and attach with a straight stitch. I have pinned my pocket away from the seam line where I'll be attaching the invisible zipper so that I don't catch the fabric while I sew. So I'll pin my zipper in place and attach with a straight stitch. I have installed the invisible zipper and have cleaned off the waistband. You can see how I finished off the ends of the zipper by turning over the right side of the lining of the waistband to the right side of the trouser and secure it with a straight stitch. then turn it out to have this clean finish, and I did the same on the other side of the waistband. I went ahead and zigzag stitched the seam allowance of the lining of the waistband to have this clean finish as well. So this is what the trouser looks like on the wrong side. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to attach the elastic on the back waistband. The length of my elastic measured 11 inches and the width measured 1.5 inches. I will attach one end of the elastic on the seam allowance of the zip and secure with a straight stitch. And the other end to the seam allowance on the side seam and secure with a zigzag stitch. I have secured the elastic on both sides of the waistband. Please ensure to open up your waistband like I did to attach your elastic. The next thing I'm going to do is to pin close the waistband, making sure to catch the lining of the waistband. So guys, I've pin closed the front waistband, and you can see here by my pins that I cut the lining on the wrong side of the waistband. I'll go ahead and secure the waistband with a stitch in a ditch, and I'll show you guys how to finish off the back waistband while I sew. I have pin closed this portion of the back waistband, and you can see that I cut the lining on the wrong side as shown by my pins. I pinned on the right side because that's where I'll run my stitches, and I did not stretch the elastic. I'll go ahead and attach with a straight stitch, and I'll sew on the same line that joins the waistband to the trouser. Once I've secured this portion that I pinned, I will now stretch the elastic and pull the fabric to the side seam so as to make room for me to pin the remaining side in place. So to ensure that I catch the fabric on the wrong side of the waistband, I first pin on the wrong side of the waistband, then repin it on the right side without stretching the elastic, very important. Then I will attach with a straight stitch. So you're going to continue this way. Once you are done sewing this portion, you will stretch the elastic, push the waistband to the sewn side, then pin the remaining portion in place and run your stitches all the way to the front waistband. So guys, I've attached my waistband and this is what I have. Recently, I'm doing more of elastic on the back waistband because I don't understand what my waistline is giving these days. I will secure this end of the back waistband with a straight stitch to prevent it from rolling inwards. I have done that. Now you can go ahead and leave the back waistband the way it is, but I'm going to run 2 long stitches along the waistband, hem my trouser, attach a hook and eye for easy closing of the zipper, and I'll show us the final look. So guys, I've done all that I said, and this is what my trouser is looking like. I've added a hook and eye for easy closing of the zip. I've hemmed the trouser, and this is what it looks like on the wrong side. The length of my fabric measured 41 inches, that's 1 meter and 5 inches, and I've folded it into 2 widthwise, selvage to selvage. I'll go ahead and fold it in half again lengthwise, making it 4 folds for the front and back panel. The length of my fabric on fold measured roughly 21 inches and the width measured 22 inches. So this folded side will serve for the center, front and back, and this side is the open side. I'll go ahead and secure the fabric with pins to have more control. From the folded side, I will place the neck width of 3 inches and the neck depth of 3 inches and draw in the neckline. With my tape on the center front, I'll place half of my shoulder measurement of 8.5 inches and the rest of the fabric will be for the sleeve length and seam allowance. At the end of the sleeve, I will come down at 2 inches from the shoulder line for my shoulder slope and connect it back to the neckline. With my tape on the shoulder line, I came down at 21 inches for the length of my top plus seam allowance. Now my half length is 17 inches and I added an extra 2 inches to it, making it 19 inches, which was quite long, and the 2 inches was for seam allowance. So I reduced the length of my top to 18 inches and the seam allowance to 1.5 inches. Half inch to join the shoulders and 1 inch to create the channel for the drawstring or elastic. So you can either maintain your half length measurement or you just add an extra 1 inch to it plus your seam allowance. With my tape on the shoulder slope point, I came down at 9 inches for my sleeve opening, and at the hem of the top I came in by 4 inches. I placed this same measurement on the sleeve opening level and connected these 2 points. On the neckline, I came down at an extra half an inch for the neck depth, making it 3.5 inches. Do not do this except you are an extra large size. The 3 inches neck depth is perfect because I later adjusted my neckline after sewing. I'll go ahead and cut it out. Once you've cut out your fabric, you determine where you want your off shoulder to be. On our inspiration photo, the off shoulder is on the left, but mine is on the right. With my tape on the center front, I will replace half of my shoulder measurement of 8.5 inches and connect it back to the neckline with a slightly curved line. Now this was way lower than what we have in our inspiration photo but can still be worn. Remember, half of my shoulder measurement is 8.5 inches and I've removed 3 inches for the neck width, remaining 5.5 inches. So from half of your shoulder measurement, minus 1 to 1.5 inches and draw in your neckline because I later adjusted my own neckline after sewing. I'll go ahead and cut it out. Now I felt that the lower part of this top is big as I'll be using a drawstring instead of an elastic. So I reduced it by placing 1/4 of my hip measurement plus an extra 4 inches for ease, and for me is 14 inches, and I reduced the side seam. So that's practically all for the top. For the drawstring group and the bias for the neckline, we'll cut as we sew along. I'll go ahead and join the front and back panels on the shoulders using a French seam, and I will hem the sleeves as well. I have attached the front and back panels on the shoulders using a French seam, and I have also hemmed the sleeves. I went ahead and cut out this strip for the neckline. I'll use it to pipe round the neckline. Then at the hem of the top, I'm going to create a buttonhole here for the insertion of my drawstring, and I'll go ahead and stitch close the side seams using a French seam. So guys, I've done all that I said. I have piped the neckline, I have stitched close the side seams using a French seam, and you can see how neat the wrong side of this top is. Now the seam allowance at the hem of my top is 1 inch, so I went out by 1 inch and ironed on a medium weight interfacing to make these buttonholes. So on the center line of this top, I went out on both sides by ½ an inch to create my ½ inch buttonholes. Now I'm going to create the drawstring channel by using this 1 inch seam allowance to fold over the buttonhole and run my stitches all the way around the hem of this top, so that when I'm done sewing, this buttonhole will be in the center of the drawstring channel. I have made my buttonholes and have snipped it open, and this is what I have. This is what yours should look like if you're using a drawstring. Now I'm going to fold over the seam allowance like so and create the drawstring channel. So guys, I've done all that I've said. I have created the drawstring channel as you can see. I have also prepared the drawstring rope. So what I'm going to do is to pass this rope through the channel, and that's practically all there is to this top. So here are the modifications I made on my top after sewing. Like I earlier mentioned in the video, I adjusted the neckline after making the neck depth 3.5 inches. So on both sides of the shoulders, I took out 1 inch, as you can see here. So I just stitch it down like so to show you guys before I properly sew it. And this also helped reconcile the length of my top, as you can see here that the length measured 18 inches. This measurement is taken from the 1 inch that I came down from the shoulder line, and that's practically all there is to this tutorial. Do not forget to like and share this video. Leave all your questions in the comment section. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in my next one. A bientôt!